What used to be considered nonsense, but now many people use it. Computers are a fad. They'll never take off. We'll never need more storage than 256 megabytes. The internet is a fad. It'll never take off. Cell phones. Only rich and important people have them. Smartphones. Only rich and business people have them. You'll never have a calculator at your fingertips after high school. Who wants wireless headphones? You'd forget your phone. Music, movie, TV streaming. Exorbitant and useless. Just watch TV, listen to the radio, go to the theater like a normal person. In the mid-90s, when I was 10, 12 years old, we got internet in the house. My mum was so excited about everything on the World Wide Web. I thought it was dumb, except for this one page with an audio clip from Beavis and Butthead that she bookmarked for me. That's all it had. Lame. Even lamer at the time was a few years later, when she was all excited about buying stock in some website that sold books on the internet. Books on the internet. Parents are so uncool. Surgical masks in public. It was quite common in Asian countries way before the pandemic. White tourists would ask why they were worn. In North America, people went to work sick and just passed their cold or flu to their co-workers. In Asia, people who went to work sick or recovering would protect their co-workers by wearing masks. When COVID hit, masks were ridiculed by COVID deniers. But today, I still see all sorts of people wearing medical masks in public. Oh boy, I can name a few. Selfie sticks were mocked to no end when they first debuted, but now are considering a useful travel accessory. Masking up when sick, highly controversial during COVID, but so many more people mask up these days when compared to before COVID. DVD. We're considered unnecessary, and that they wouldn't take off at all. No need to explain how that went. Instant messaging and text messages. I didn't really get either of those since I felt like it was easier to just call someone and talk to them that way. Also, T9 was kinda hard to use. So my first smartphone was a Danger hip top and it was kinda neat, but really clunky and more or less useless. Now, I can't imagine not being able to just send a quick text to anyone. An expensive coffee shop every few blocks. When I was a teen, you got funny looks, even from peers, if you said you drank coffee. Not to mention it wasn't very common for young teens to have more than a few bucks of walking around money each week. Now even middle school kids are always in every coffee and tea shop and somehow have funds to drop $6 per drink. When the iPad came out, I thought it was stupid. Why on earth would I need that? I have a computer and a phone. I don't need a huge phone, small computer. But having one for work and watching TV on trips and stuff is amazing. I still think paying the price for a new iPad is crazy, but the $150 price for a Samsung or Amazon tablet is perfectly fine. Slightly different category than most here, but the expression pull yourself up by your bootstraps sort of fits the topic. Inali described an impossible task, grabbing the top of your own boots and lifting yourself up, but now is used to describe a self-made person who either did or needs to succeed with no assistance. Bluetooth was funny as hell when it came out. Previously, when people were talking to the air, they were either talking to you or obviously mentally disturbed, and people with Bluetooth were generally men with what would be considered a tech bro attitude, who would get annoyed if you thought they were talking to you. One example of something that used to be considered nonsense, and is now widely used is emoji. Frivolous or unnecessary, emoji have become an integral part of digital communication, allowing users to convey emotions, tone, and context in text-based messages in a quick and visually appealing way. I distinctly remember telling someone around 2006 that texting seemed so stupid and unnecessary, and I didn't understand why anyone would ever use such a feature. To be fair, what is a normal 5-minute back and forth text conversation now would have cost like $8 at the time. But still, germ theory and washing hands. Everyone used to be very resistant to the idea of invisible creatures on your skin causing infections. Even doctors resisted washing their hands before surgery. Now I look sideways at people for not washing their hands after using the toilet. Tablet computers. I was working in an Apple store when the iPad was first released, and just the vast majority of people couldn't even comprehend what they might use it for. It's too big to be a phone, too small and not functional enough to be a laptop. What was the point? I recall a lot of people making fun of smartphones, the iPhone, as totally pointless when it came out, and that they'd never needed a phone like that when all they need is a phone. Every single person I heard say the stuff now owns a smartphone. iPods. Lots of people, me included, thought that 1,000 songs was way more than we ever need. Now we go around with the ability to have tens of thousands of songs on our phones, and effectively all the songs available instantly via streaming. Online therapy. 100 guilty of this. I had a part-time job around online therapy when it was just starting. I thought this would never work. There's no accountability. Fast forward to today, where I have all my therapy online. This was a widely thought thing. But when I was a teenager and DVDs started coming out, there would be a little DVD section at Blockbuster, and I'd always thought to myself that those won't catch on. Clearly, I was wrong. When I asked my older cousin once what Beijos da Sailor Moon meant, she translated it to mean kisses from Sailor Moon in Portuguese. Thus, when I was 10 years old, I began using BDSM as my online signature. Online dating used to have a stigma attached to it. It used to be something that you'd be perceived as having to resort to if all else failed. Now it's the first option for many people, and rightly so. I remember when tablets came out, everyone thought they were redundant. I suppose PPL with kids are the only reason tablets are still alive. I don't know anyone who doesn't have kids that have a tablet. Selfie sticks. There was literally a popular post on Reddit when one of the first tourists was spotted with one. Everyone laughed. At the time it looked like a tool for the chronically lonely. Supplements. I remember vividly 15 years ago at the gym. When you took something, pills were exceptionally scary. Everyone thought you take steroids. Now, everyone and their dog take supplements. 20 years ago we were excited about our flip phones having shitty cameras on them. I distinctly remember telling people that eventually we'll be saying, "Oh yeah, my camera has a phone on it." My cousin worked at Best Buy in the early 2000s. His boss told him and his co-workers that one day they would have a phone that is straight up touch screen. They all thought he was crazy. Cable TV. A lot of people thought the idea of paying for something they already got for free was really stupid. And now we have cable TV you pay for, with ADS. Worst of both worlds. I remember making fun of the Apple Watch when it came out. I didn't think a tiny screen on the wrist would be useful. Nowadays it seems like everyone, myself included, has one. When Apple announced the iPhone in 2007, my initial thought, and many people I knew, was who the hell wants an MP3 player that makes phone calls? I was very, very wrong. Cell phones. I remember when only the worst people carried a mobile phone and the rest of us mocked them for trying to show it off in every unnecessary situation. The internet. Had no idea why people wanted to spend time on it when I first saw it. Wow. You wait a week for downloading a picture of tits. That's horny, dude. Bottled water was ridiculed when it first came out. At least where I'm from. I remember people saying, why would anyone pay for water when it's free from the tap? Crocs. They were used as props in the movie Idiocracy because they looked ridiculous. Now they are very popular and have had many collaborations with brands. I'd say Snuggies fit the bill. That ridiculous commercial that used to come on was so easy to mock, but I have seen a Snuggie in many a home since then. I grew up in a world where parents thought the CIA was going to tap your phone. Nowadays they ask for wiretap Alexa the best way to make waffles. Privacy concerns used to be mocked, especially things like covering your webcam. Now it's just generally accepted that companies are spying on us. Touch screens. The iPod Touch had mixed reception at first because you can't hit the pause button without pulling the device out and unlocking it. Just find an old person and whatever the hell they're whining about has typically been accepted. Like mine is not tipping at the gas station. I remember people considering the idea of ordering pizza online kind of a joke in the 90s. Not something the average person would ever do. Acupuncture, at least where I live, It used to be regarded as so much alternative mumbo-jumbo. Now it's part of state-funded health care. I thought I saw a newspaper snippet from the early 80s where people asked about video games. One person said that it was just a fad. Dating myself. But water bottles. There was a time when any kind of water bottles elicited snarky responses from a lot of people. Did it? Had one for years. And friends thought it was not useful. Many folks have one now and enjoy the cleanliness. I remember when tablets came out, people just saw them as a large oversized iPod Touch and thought they were stupid. Radio. A lot of people said things like, who would ever listen to sound waves sent out to nobody in particular? For me, extra screens. I don't know why I thought I could do all that work with 20 tabs open on one small laptop. Talk with things that are objects. In the old days you were crazy, and now it's okay to talk with Alexa, for example. Online dating. You used to be seen as a weirdo who couldn't get a partner in real life. Now it is the norm. According to my dad, bottled water. Everyone apparently thought the idea of paying for water was absurd. I was an early adopter of texting, and all my friends hated it. The non-texter is a real rarity now. Emojis, once dismissed as digital hieroglyphics, now the backbone of modern communication. Internet and mobile phones. No joke. In the 90s, people thought it was a fad for the youth. No shortage of folks who thought the internet was going to be a fleeting little fun thing. Neo-pronouns. XTOOP. Edit. Please explain me what the purpose of neo-pronouns are. Smoking crack in public like it's a cigarette, when did that become acceptable? Editorials as news. Culturally, we used to know the difference, not anymore.